Hey guys, it's Andrew here again. Welcome to my video on how to do the front splits. In this video I'm going to show you some stretches that you can use to warm up your hamstring muscles, your calf muscles and your quads and hip flexors so that you can do the front splits. A lot of people seem to think that the best way to get flexible is to do splits, the split pose, but that's actually not the most effective way. You want to stretch each individual muscle, which is what I'm going to be demonstrating here, well before you do splits. And in fact, there's a certain stretch that I want you to be able to make sure that you can achieve before you even attempt the splits. I hope you enjoy this video. If you have any questions or comments, please post them on my profile. Thanks, bye. Alright, welcome to the video on front splits. I'm going to now talk about the various different stretches that I use for front splits. The first one, of course, is your normal forward lunge. Now, a variation that I've actually discovered is you link your hands behind your back like so and pull away. At the same time, really push your hips forward and lean back slightly. And you'll find this really helps to increase the stretch. I've found I'm getting a much deeper lunge actually using that hands linked behind the back. So that's something I sort of always use now, and I find it really helps to get my legs, my lunge much deeper than it was before. From here I straighten my front leg and I pull the toes back. And this is actually a calf stretch, and the further I bend forward, it's actually going to be a hamstring stretch, so I feel it underneath my thigh. Try to bend forward with a straight back. The aim here is to actually get your chest flat to the leg without the leg bending, and if possible try to get your armpit to actually touch the leg. If you're not flexible, you won't be able to do this straight away, but this is something to aim for. This is actually a stretch I would recommend people do before attempting the splits. You really need to be able to get your chest flat to the leg, completely flat to the leg, before you should even try to slide into splits. And once you can do that, you'll actually find splits is so much easier. If you're really tired, another method you might find is just straighten your leg just as much as you can, but keeping your chest actually flat to the leg, and then slowly try to straighten it until it's all the way straight. So that's sort of a way of sneaking up on the leg, to straighten it even if you can't quite get there. You might find that works. So now I'm just doing the same thing on the other leg. Start with my lunge stretch, make my hands behind the back. Really push those hips forward, lean slightly back. You really want to tuck the hips under. This stretch actually automatically does that for you, so in a way you don't even need to think about doing that. You just link the hands behind the back and away you go. It really works. So straighten the front leg now, and I'm pulling those toes right back. I'll show you another stretch in a minute that's actually going to stretch your calves, because I'm actually a strong believer that the calf muscles play a bit of a part in split flexibility, so it's really important to actually work the splits, the calf muscle for the splits, which is what I'm doing when I pull my toes back, and when I'm pointing my toes it's more of a hamstring stretch. But I'll show you another calf stretch in a minute that I use. I'm just going to show you what happens, this other idea I've come up with. If you're having trouble with your hamstring flexibility, actually put your leg up on a raised surface like a chair or something, and in this one you're keeping the leg straight, but the bottom leg, the leg that you're standing on, is bent, and then I straighten it, and then I bend, and then I straighten, and at the same time I'm trying to lean forward, trying to lean my chest forward to have my chest over flat onto the leg. And maybe initially at first you won't be able to get it flat to the leg, but the more you bend and stretch, you find that you'll actually be able to increase how close your chest gets to your leg. And this will really help that other stretch that I was saying, which is just basically having your legs straight out in front of you in a kneeling stretch, and that's actually going to really help your splits. So once again, I'm bending, stretching, trying to keep a flat back, trying to get my armpit to touch my leg, really keeping that leg that's on the chair flat, straight, and then the supporting legs bending and straightening. And each time I lower my chest further and further to the ground. Works really effectively. So yeah, now I was mentioning the calf stretch. This is actually a stretch that I really recommend for your calf, and that's actually to use the wall. Try to get your heel in as close as possible to the wall, and then stand up straight. Use the back leg to really push you upright into the wall, and it'll increase the stretch. So I'll show you on the other leg. I get right down so that I might get my heel on the wall, and then stretch up, push up and forwards. You should feel it really, really strongly in the back of your calf muscle on that leg that's on the wall. I find this leg is second to none over any other calf stretch. Don't bother about any other calf stretch. That's just the best one to do. So now I'm doing splits. I start with my lunging position and with a straight front leg, and I just get that sense of having my chest flat on the leg, keeping it as close to the leg as possible as I slide forwards. Really helps to sort of ease the psychological factor of, oh my god, I'm in the splits, and then just gradually lower into the splits, and there you go. Now, one thing you want to watch is that your splits are square. This is a stretch that I use. I take my opposite hand, the one opposite to the front leg, and then take it across the front leg, and then the other leg takes the other way, and it's like a twist, as you can see. So it effectively twists your hips around to the position that it needs to be in. So that's something I always use when I'm in splits to make sure that my splits are correct and square. So I slide down into splits, you know, and if I'm not quite there, then you know it's cool. Like just basically hang there and relax. Get that twist position happening, and really make sure your hands are not on the ground. If you're close enough to the ground, don't all put your hands on the ground, because that's just going to slow you up. If possible at all, take your hands off the ground and just allow your body weight to sink you down into the splits. This is another variation that I discovered. It may be helpful to some of you, and that's actually to keep your chest pinned to the front leg, and keep the front leg bent, and then see how I'm letting my back leg slide back into the splits. So the front leg really only straightens at the very last minute, and then all of a sudden, voila, I'm in the splits. Because I found that, you know, like having the front leg straight is very hard. So that'll actually really help.